I was really tired today and I did not think that I was gonna pop up here and make a video, but then I got so excited that I couldn't hold myself. And if you found this video here today, then that means that you know a thing or two about manifesting. You've probably been learning some things over the last couple of years about how it all works, that you need to be detached from the outcome in order for it to arrive. And today I want to explain to you why, if that whole process of being detached to the outcome hasn't been working that well for you yet, because that is where all of us go wrong. That is where I went wrong my entire life, and I didn't really have success in this until quite recently, where I realized exactly what it means to actually be detached from the outcome and how that looks in my own life. So that is what I'm really excited to share with you today. And it's actually very, very simple. So being detached from the outcome is recognizing that you are whole and complete in this moment, because that means that you don't need another moment to come into your life, because you're already good here where you are. Who you are being manifests your reality. And when you are being full, whole and complete in this moment, which can happen when you start accepting yourself to a whole new level than you ever did before, that is when you tap into this just elevated state of energy, vibration, frequency, whatever you want to call it, that actually makes it possible to manifest all of those beautiful things that you want in your life. The highest point of energy that you can operate from, that will manifest the most type of abundance that you're looking for, is that when you feel whole and complete in this moment. Most of us think we're broken. Most of us think that there's something about us that needs to change. Most of us have so many unconscious programs that says that I need this thing in order to be whole, worthy and complete. I need this thing. I should have this job. I should have this, that. In a lot of cases, we don't even understand just how deeply rooted these things are to our overthinking patterns that is trying to make something happen at all times outside of this present moment where we are existing, because we're technically running from this present moment. When you feel full, whole and complete in this moment, you don't want to escape this moment. You want to tune into it. And it feels amazing to exist here just as you are. But that requires a certain letting go. So I had a comment on one of my YouTube videos, I think it was yesterday, and someone asked me, and they said something like, I've been on this healing journey for a long time. So healing is something I talked about in my previous video, so feel free to check it out if you want to. And I feel like I had to do a lot of work with my healing journey, and I don't regret that I did all of that work on my healing journey. Healing yourself is something that happens naturally when you allow it. And in my view, and this is how I see reality, those times when we actually tap into healing ourselves, we simply, for perhaps a brief moment, or manage to actually stop creating resistance to who it is that we are, if only for a brief moment, so that a part of who it is that we really are manage to actually shine through. Because the reason that we are not detached all the time is because we are attached to programs, to addictions, to relationships. We're attached to a pattern of feeling like I should raise my vibration or I should heal myself. All of that actually originates from not being in a full and whole, complete state, which is your natural state, which is something that happens when we grow up, we go through experiences. This can come from generational stuff, it can come from a lot of different sources, where there are parts of who we are that we don't accept, we reject. And the only way to actually reject a part of who it is that you are is to attach ourselves using a program of the mind to a thought pattern, to a behavior, to a set of actions, or whatever it is, that keeps the awareness that we truly are beyond the mind, that is always observing, attached to this mind, because it doesn't want to be in the present moment of what it is about ourselves that we believe that we cannot experience about ourselves, because if we experience this, we are not whole, worthy, and complete. So we have a lot of these programs, we have a lot of these beliefs following with us that makes it really hard to detach. Because if you were to detach, as in not being attached to these things anymore, then you are present with what it is that you buried internally within yourself and kept on lockdown your entire life. Now we want to realize that healing, who you are, is not really a thing. You're always healed. It may appear as if something is broken, and you may live in a false sense of reality that something is broken when you think that something needs to be healed. And it also appears as if we are broken when we have these attachments and these addictions and these overthinking patterns of our mind that are very challenging. It seems like we are broken. But it's actually just because we keep telling ourselves that we are broken. Because of every one of those challenging things that we have lies an energy, a part of who it is that we are, that we don't accept. But when we let go and surrender to who it is that we authentically are, beyond all of these programs, I recognize that we are whole, worthy, and complete in this moment, just as we are, even with all of that shame that you've accumulated over your life, even with all of that guilt, with all of that fear or resentment or whatever it is, all of that stuff that is now within you, that is the reason for the programs of your mind that you've been living by that has made it hard to detach. These things are a part of you and will always be a part of you. And we're always meant to be accepted. They can be challenging to go through, but the big challenge in your life and in my life, when I was going through the challenge of not being able to detach, was not the pain of going through this, but that terrible pain of having this experience and also completely always rejecting it because I had a program in place that said that I'm not good enough. That's the source of the real suffering. Because as soon as we start experiencing this, we start creating the resistance to it. That is when we are attached instead of detached. As soon as we notice that things start to get better in our lives, we start overthinking, we start worrying. And that is because in order for something greater to come around, you must first start to feel greater. And in order to feel greater, you need to also have the capacity to experience yourself exactly as you are. And so all of these things that are currently being buried within you, as they start moving up to the surface, to be integrated and just be accepted without running off to smoking again or running off to doing whatever addiction, whatever thought pattern or personality trait it is that you've had in your life to cope with all of these things, to recognize that, wait a minute, why am I doing this? And just realize that these things makes me whole and complete. As soon as I allow this, as I mentioned in the previous video, the healing journey ends. Because in order to heal something, you must first be broken. And that you being broken is just something that seems as such because you keep telling yourself that you're not whole and complete in this moment. When you tap into the fact that you are whole and complete despite of what it is that's going on right now, then you also tap into the universe's way of moving you forward, which can be seen as healing, right? Because when you move forward and through and integrate and be a part of all of these things again, those programs and those things that were really challenging, like attaching yourself to a relationship that's not good for you, dissipates. And then it seems like, oh, I healed myself. Like, no. Even though it seems like it. But it seems like it, right? Because you lose this program, because the energy that you were detaching from and attaching to the relationship, that energy disappears, and so you don't attach anymore. You're just yourself again. You just connected back to who it is that you are through the acceptance of this energy. And now you're free to be who you are again. And also, as you start moving more and more and more into just full radical acceptance over who it is that you are, the more you're going to be able to be detached, because there is no greater feeling, my friend, than being who you are and living life fully and beautifully connected to who it is that you are. There's no greater sensation that you can ever experience. There are things that we want in this life that are exciting and that I want you to go for. We have desires, go for them, have fun, enjoy. But we don't need them. What we need is ourselves. And once that deep need is taken care of, all of the other things can start flowing in as well. Because when you start operating from feeling like you're whole and complete in this moment, which is just a shift of perspective away from you right now, just a shift of perspective into full surrender into this moment. Just a full realization that, oh, I don't have to change anything. I just need to fall into who it is that I am. That's when everything starts to change. You're able to detach. The things that seemed like they were approaching into your life, but then just kind of evaporated and like went like this, finally just lands into your life. Because you were able to stay in this very powerful state, which is the state of you being whole and complete. Which is always how it is. You're always whole and complete. It's just that you have to stop living in the delusion that you are not. Once that happens, and you move through and feel yourself again, which is going to happen more naturally as you just allow it, because that's the natural order of who it is that you are. It's just here for you. You're just here. It's just that you keep pretending and playing that you're not. And that's the source of the issues. When you stop that game of playing, trying to get somewhere, trying to do something about everything, then you connect back into who you are again. And then you're detached because you're whole and complete. And now, all of those things that you want in your life can start moving in because you're operating at your highest frequency. And this happens all naturally. It's not something that we actually do. It's when we move out of the way that it starts to happen. And in some cases, when we focus on that, oh, I'm doing healing work, for example, in order to raise my vibration, then that healing work is usually just because we, in some way, shape, or form, manage to connect back to the allowance over who it is that we are. Because then it's natural. It just starts happening for us. If you want to learn more about how to connect back to who you are, and also talk to me in my live streams, I would love to see you there, talk to me in person, then make sure to check out my links down below, and I'll see you there or in my next video. Bye.